You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.
Woo! It's about that time. FatMike, Chicago Sports. Yeah. Finally here. Shot City Sports is right here. Updates on news, get it here. No rumors, cause we keep it real. FatMike. Sit back, relax, sugar beer one of them nights.
Hey, this is Carmen DeFalco from ESPN Chicago, and you're listening to the FatMike Sports Show.
Hey, this is Dave Richard from CBS Sports, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hi, this is Jesse Rogers for the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Merkin, the longtime White Sox beat writer for MLB.com and proud graduate of the University of Michigan. You're listening to me on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
This is Chuck Arfine, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. It's the best.
Hey, what's up? This is Greg Braggs Jr. from Braggs in the Stands, and you're listening to my guys on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. Boom!
Hey everyone, Fred Huebner from ESPN 1000. Great to be on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. I'm Dan Zaborski, senior writer for Fangraphs, and you're listening to FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
I'm JJ Stankovitz from NBCSportsChicago.com and the Undercenter podcast, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey Sparkle, you know what I listen to? It's the FatMike Chicago Sports Show with my guy, Fat Mike. If you listen anywhere else, no jock. Listen to Fat Mike. It's best.
And welcome back, everybody. It is the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. And with me, as always, is myself. I am FatMike. I am one of the hosts here. But also with me is Angelo. Angelo, how's it going, bud? Oh, no. Angelo's not here. Where is Angelo? Angelo is not going to be here tonight, guys. Unfortunately, Angelo is a little under the weather, but we still have a great show for you guys here tonight. So everybody, make sure you hop on at Sport Court and send Angelo, get well cards, send him some booby pictures or something. Make sure it gets him all feeling better. I mean, something has to make him feel better. He has to be here with us next week. He can't be taking days off like this. But no, in all actuality, in all serious, Angelo, I hope you're feeling good, bud. I'm sorry that you're feeling down in the dumps. I'm sorry that you're feeling like shit. But next week, pal, we will be back and ready in action. With us tonight is a big, big show, man. We're going to be talking Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Blackhawks, Bears. At 7:30 here, we got our guy from ESPN Chicago and ESPN 1000 here. Fred Huebner coming on here. He's going to talk it all with us. He's also going to be talking some beers. He's going to be talking a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm really, really excited to have him on again. He's a good friend of the show. We always have a good time having him on here with us, and it's going to be fun. So, Angelo, get better. You guys that are in the chat room, make sure you guys are asking me questions and asking Freddie questions on the topics. We're going to get to it all tonight, okay? I want to give a special shout-out to our guys, Vince Mucci and Andrew Tarbill. Had a great opening show on Friday night on Turtles Takes. If you guys missed it, you guys can check it out on the Spotify, 12/52 Sports. Look it up. They had a great show with Lorenzo Hood and Derek, I'm blanking on his name, Derek Ross. Great show. The other night they had Lorenzo Hood, MMA fighter, Derek Ross, College Football Hall of Famer, ex-Kansas City Chief. It was a great show. They brought some really good content to us, and I hope that you guys do check that out. So make sure you guys get on the Spotify and give that a holler. But, yeah, like I said, we got a lot to get into here tonight. The one thing I want to bring up here, and it's something that's kind of been bothering me. I'm just going to kind of hop right into it here, okay? Honestly, I'm gonna hop right into it. Earlier, here at 1252, we have like a little group chat. We're like a bunch of little teenage girls. So we have like this gigantic group chat that we all chat in, and we're sitting there, and it bothered me. All right, something was bothering me the other night during the NBA All-Star Game. It's been a week since we've been back. Obviously, we're a once-a-week show here at the Fat Mike Show's a once-a-week show. But the one thing that really bothered me it wasn't just the All-Star game that bothered me. It was the NBA as a whole. Okay, that's what bothered me. I can't get into today's NBA. I really can't, guys. I really cannot get into today's NBA. I love my Chicago Bulls. Do not get me wrong. I love the Bulls, and I will watch every Bulls game that I have the chance to watch. Okay? But today's NBA is so much different than the NBA I grew up on. Okay? Now, I'm still a young cat. Okay? I'm 32 years old. But the NBA today is washed, in my opinion. It's garbage. All right, I love the Bulls. All right, and I will watch them. They're an exciting team. They're young. They have a lot of young talent that I really like. But I can't stand this if you can't beat them, join them aspect of today's NBA. It's not the fact they make uber amounts of millions of dollars. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that if you can't win a title, you team up with some of the other best basketball players in the world to win one. That's what bothers me. All right. And we got into this discussion the other night in our little chat room here on what ruined the NBA. And honestly, in my opinion, all right, it goes back to LeBron James doing the big three. And somebody else also, our guy here at 1252, Alan Bratcher, our hype man for 1252, brought up, it wasn't him, it was also Danny Ainge. Before LeBron, Danny Ainge, when he was running the Celtics, creating the big three with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray, help me out here, guys. Help me out. I'm missing it. Ray, I'm missing it. Somebody help me. But that's what happened. Like it got so flooded with the big three. It was just Ray Allen. There we go. Ray Allen. There we go. It got so flooded with the big three that's how you were able to win a championship now. And it's been that way since. It's no longer, I can't beat them, work harder to beat them. That's what bothers me, okay? If you can't win an NBA title, then you got to get better. Look at back in the day when Jordan couldn't win a title, when he was going up against those wicked Pistons teams. Okay, look at that. He worked harder. He didn't recruit a bunch of guys. It was bullshit. Okay, he did his job. He worked harder. He got stronger. He got bigger. He got faster. All right, and he upped his game. The guy did not stop. All right, but in today's game, if you can't do that, the lack of effort to do so, okay, it's now, forget it. I'll just go team up with KD, or we'll recruit KD, or I'm LeBron James. I'm going to bring in the Brow. I'm going to bring in Anthony Davis. That's crap. And I think that today's NBA is washed. I really do. And I'd love for it to have some people come in here and weigh their thoughts on it, because it's something that bothers me. And I want this to be a thing. I really do. Like, think about it. Think about all those years that we watched. I mean, like I said, I'm only 32. I'm going to be 33 here in 15 days. I turned 33. I can't believe it. Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. But it's ridiculous. And our guy Vince here says the teams are leaving the players no choice. If they sign with a non-title contender and the team doesn't compete, they sit you while they try to trade you or buy you out. Yeah, okay, I get it. But work harder. Think smart. All right, you have to. So say what's a guy down? Say right now that kid down there in Dallas, Luka Doncic. All right, he doesn't have the greatest supporting cast around him, but the guy does the work and he does the job, and he tries to get better. Look at Giannis, the Greek freak up there in Milwaukee. He does what he can to get better. All right, he's brought a team. I mean, they're not the greatest team on the planet, but he's brought the team there. All right, and that's a thing. All right, he's not teaming up. He could team up. He could team up with somebody and win a championship. Easy. But what's more rewarding? Teaming up with somebody, you're doing it the right way and winning it on your own. Not on your own per se, but doing it the right way and working hard to achieve your ultimate goal. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. Our guy Angelo here playing hooky. I miss you, Mike. I miss you too, boo-boo. Don't be so sad. It'll be okay, bud. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Angelo brings up another good point. He says the Celtics was built through trades. The Heat was built from an offseason of players teaming up. And you're exactly right, Angelo. That's exactly what it was. Okay? And it's not. I don't know. It bothers me. Okay? Back to what Angelo was saying. Yes, it was built through trades and built through off-season signings. All right, but the Celtics gave up a lot of capital to get that team to win essentially just one championship with that group of three. It was ridiculous, and they did it. And then they were able to get some stuff back after they shopped those guys over to Brooklyn. But I don't know. And then Tyler brings up the goal is to win a ring any way possible. No, I don't believe that. Okay, the goal. I mean, I do believe that, and I don't believe that. The ultimate goal is to win rings. Yes, of course. But you can translate this to what I'm saying right now. What I'm saying right now in the NBA. All right, you can translate this to any sport at this point, and that's one thing that I didn't think of that our guy over at 12-2 Allen brought to my attention. It's going to be like this across all sports eventually, I believe. And you're going to have that run of terror of one team for 5-6 years where it'll be ridiculous. People will hate them. People will love them because, if you can't be the best, join the best. And that's just a shitty way of looking at things. I really, really do. I don't like this, the loyalty aspect of things. Who gives a shit about the loyalty? I'm not asking for loyalty. I'm asking for appreciation of what you do for a living is what I'm asking for. I'm asking for guys that these superstars like Giannis and Luka Doncic, guys like LeBron, who honestly wouldn't have a title at all if he didn't team up with half the guys he teamed up with. I firmly believe that. I really do. LeBron James would not have a title if he didn't play with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, or if he didn't play with Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, Kyrie Irving, or the dude that he's with now, Anthony Davis. He wouldn't have a title. He wouldn't. That's just my opinion. I don't think he would. And that goes to further my argument, that argument of who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. It's hands down Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan did it all with guys that the Bulls drafted, with the guys that the Bulls traded for. All right. They weren't just necessarily big names, but I firmly believe that LeBron would not have a title if it wasn't for any of the guys that he had teamed up with. I really do. I firmly believe that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. We got a lot of guys here chiming in, a lot of the guys here from our network here. Superstars attract other players, will always happen, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Whatever. I understand that. But look at a guy like Mike Trout. You could weigh this option in either sport. Mike Trout hasn't attracted any big, humongous names. He hasn't attracted an Aaron Judge or a Trevor Bauer or any of those other guys. So I mean, it's bogus. That's bogus. Look at all the guys that have been here in Chicago. Look at all of it. Khalil Mack. I mean, okay, so we have superstars on our defense. We still don't have a fucking quarterback. We have superstars on our defense. Khalil Mack. We got Eddie Jackson. We have Akeem Hicks. I mean, absolute straight up monsters on our defense. Yet we still don't have a team to win. We still don't have a team that can win, that can push us past this. It goes back and forth, back and forth. And, okay, so, yeah, you're right. Anthony Rendon went there for the Mike Trout aspect. You're right. Anthony Rendon went there. He also signed for a shit ton of money. And I understand the aspect that these guys are going out there to make as much money as they possibly can. Don't get me wrong. I understand the generational wealth aspect of everything. I get that. Okay? Yeah, make your money. Make your money. For sure, make your money. But I'd much rather win Honestly, I'd much rather win and be paid still millions of dollars and have the chance to become a Hall of Famer than just go to some place and rot the rest of my career or team up with somebody to just win. That's pointless. That's pointless. It's like, it would be like, okay, for example, it would be like me and 8 of my other buddies playing the Little Sisters of the Nazarene in a full-blown baseball game. I mean, come on, that's not fair. Going down the street with 4 or 5 of my other buddies and playing hoops against a preschool. Yeah, because that's fun. The fuck out of here. Get out of here with that bullshit. I get that money talks. I get that you want to make your money and support your family and have generational wealth. I get that. But don't you want to win a title the right way? Look at guys all throughout it. I mean, it goes so far back. You can bring it back to like the days of the Yankees where they bought everybody. It makes me sick. But the one thing that's different about baseball and basketball is that's more of a team game. Baseball is more, it's not just one-sided on one guy. You have plenty of other options that are on the field and on the court, whatever you want to say, on the playing aspect of things that are more relied upon than they are in basketball. There's just no chance to win. There's no good win. Like look at everybody on Golden State a few years ago. All right, this is when they had Steph Curry, when they still had Steph Curry. They still do have Steph Curry. Klay Thompson. They went nuts. They won a big championship. Then the next year they go out and get KD. Why? KD could have won a championship somewhere else. KD could win a championship. If not, why not try to win a championship somewhere else? I would appreciate those Oklahoma Thunder teams more if they would have kept that together and won a championship there instead of KD and Rich Harden and Russell Westbrook all parting ways from there. It's bogus. I don't agree with it. It's bogus. It's bogus. And many of you may not agree with me. Some of you might, some of you don't. I don't care. That's my own opinion. That it's not a hot take. I'm just saying that's my aspect on things. For me, Danny Ainge and LeBron James have killed the NBA. I'll watch my Bulls and root against any other team that they're playing against. I don't care. That's awesome. Okay? But I'm not going to throw on some random-ass NBA game just to watch it. For what? I haven't watched the NBA playoffs in fucking God knows how long. Why? Because what's the outcome? LeBron James is going to get there, and he's either going to win or lose. Every year for the past 10 years. That's why guys like Kawhi Leonard I like. He took a 1-year contract to go to Toronto, wins a championship, bounces. Goes to a team, they start building around him a little bit. Not with huge names. Yeah, Paul George was a big name. Paul George was also a risk. Paul George was a risk when they went and signed him. They didn't know what was left in Paul George's tank. That's why I like the old San Antonio Spurs teams. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. I like those teams. Those teams were great. All right? Those teams were good teams. That's why I like those old school, like the Suns teams with Steve Nash. And who's that big dude that they have? Amari Stoudemire. I liked those teams. Not Stephon Marbury. I'm thinking of the other guy. I forget. But that's why they never won anything, but they were close. They still put people on their heels. That's why I like those teams. Okay, here we go. Kawhi forced his way out. Who gives a shit? He still won a championship. He went out, did his thing, won a championship with a team that shouldn't have been there. And they got it done. And now he took on a new challenge. He's taking on challenges unlike the guys that are in today's NBA where they just go to a team that's already stocked and loaded to win a championship when they're already in their superstar primes. That's bullshit. You're not going to change my mind on this. It's ass. All of this is absolutely ass. And the mentality, Tarville brings up a good point. The mentality now is totally different. Yeah, you're damn right it is. You are 100% right. The mentality now is that if we can't beat them, you might as well join them. That's exactly what it is. When back in the day in Jordan's era, when basketball was actually good, all right, guys didn't team up with one another. You had Barkley down in the Rockets or down on the Suns. You had Ewing up on the Knicks. You had Stockton and you had Karl Malone on the Utah Jazz. You had Sean Kemp and Gary Payton up in Seattle. You had Jordan and Pippen in the Bulls. You had Shaq and Penny on the Magic. Teams actually tried. You actually had a chance. You actually thought then that your team could actually make a push. You actually thought that your team actually had a chance, unlike today. Plain and simple. Today, everybody knows. Right now, it's going to be the fucking Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers. Why even play the goddamn season then? Basketball is so washed nowadays. It's a joke. The NBA is a fucking joke. I can't stand it. Like I said, I'll watch my Bulls and I'll root against whoever they're playing. But other than that, I'm not watching the finals. Give me the PGA Tour that's coming up this weekend. Give me the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Give me that. I'd much rather watch that. I'd much rather watch like I said in the chat, I'd much rather watch a bags tournament on ESPN The Ocho than watch the fucking NBA finals. Or the NBA playoffs for that matter. There are no upsets anymore. There are no upsets in the NBA. It's a joke. Exactly. Work to get better. Teaming up proves nothing. Thank you. Thank you. It doesn't. Teaming up does nothing. So, in a couple minutes here, that's all I have to say about that. I'm already getting pissed off about this, and I'm sure I pissed off a lot of you within the first couple of minutes about talking about it. And that's fine. That's cool. That's all right. Steve Nash. See, this is a stupid fucking comment here. Steve Nash teamed up with Kobe and Dwight. Steve Nash was just a dude. He was already old at that point. Plain and simple. Yeah, he was already old. He was just a dude. It was like signing Tino Martinez late in his career. It was like signing David Ross. Get out of here with that bullshit. Get out of here. It's a joke. In a couple of minutes here, we do have our guy Fred Huebner coming on here. We're going to be talking Cubs. We're going to be talking Sox. We're going to be talking a little bit of the Bulls. Maybe I'll bring this topic up to him and see what he thinks. We're going to be talking the Bears and see what's going on with Russell Wilson. That's a whole shit show, too. Who knows if that's even going to happen? Okay. And we're going to be talking some Blackhawks. Patrick Kane hitting some big milestones over the last couple of weeks. 400 goals, 1,000 games. We got a preview of Jonathan Taze looking last night. In my opinion, he looked a little thin. We still don't know what's going on with Jonathan Taze. Hopefully he's okay. Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything's okay. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I'm going to bring all these questions to Fred Huebner tonight. And we're also going to be talking beer. Freddie's a big beer guy. So really quick, I'm going to play a quick little word from one of our sponsors here. Our guy, John Darren, over at the Coldwell Real Estate Bank Group. If you guys are looking for a home, he's the guy to find, man. Give him a call. He will find you a house here in the Illinois area, in the Illinois land. So here you go. Quick little word from him.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
And we're back. Hey, it's me again. Where's Angelo? He's still not here. Poor Angelo. He's probably sleeping right now. He's got his binky, sitting in bed, hanging out with the old lady and his kids, just doing his thing, his binky and his blanket and his bottle and in his diaper. And he's probably got poo-poo in his diaper because that's what Angelo does. Angelo likes to poo-poo in his diaper. Poor little Angelo. I hope you're feeling better, bud. I wish you were here to interview Freddie because Freddie likes you too, man. Freddie's going to be on here shortly in a couple minutes. And like I said, Freddie's awesome, man. I went and had lunch with Freddie a couple of weeks ago. It was excellent. We went to Mongo Sports Bar out in Romeoville, had a few beers, and ate some. We had quesadillas. It was a nice little date between Freddie and I. We had some quesadillas, and we hung out, and we bullshit, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time. I was going to say Angelo is having vaginal reconstructive surgery tonight. Well, I guess I kind of already did say that, but I hope he is feeling better. Angelo, I love you, bud. I hope you're feeling good. But yeah, Freddie's coming on here soon, and I want to talk with him about some White Sox, man, and some Cubs. I'm really getting big into baseball here. It's coming up before we know it. Cubs have been playing pretty decent as of late. The Sox have been playing pretty good. They had a couple of big guys start for them the other day, Crochet and Kopech. They both pitched the other day, which was nice. The Cubs, Zach Davies went today in a win, and then they dropped the other one against the Giants today. But the guy that Angelo and I were talking about with Cappy a few weeks ago, the guy that I picked to click this year, Nico Horner, has been kicking ass. And Fred Huebner gave some thought to that this past weekend on his show on ESPN. On ESPN Chicago, ESPN 1000. He's been killing it, this kid. I like this kid. He's beefed up a little bit. His swing looks tighter. His swing looks no longer looping through the zone, which is nice. And I think this guy's going to be the real deal. And I really do. I think we are all, as a Cub fan myself, I think I'm going to be pleasantly surprised with this kid's uptick coming into this season in 2021. We got big news here in Chicago, too, with our mayor, Lori Lightfoot, allowing 20% of people coming in, which shouldn't be a problem for the White Sox to fill. That's pretty much, full stadium for those guys, is 20%. They can never seem to fill their stadium unless it's opening day. But all kidding aside, that team is going to be good this year, and I'm excited to watch that team. It's hard for me to shit on that team being a Cub fan. I mean, look, I got the Cubs here. I got the Cubs over here, right there. There we go. I always get backflipped because of the computer. But that team's going to be ridiculous this year. And a guy who knows all about the ridiculousness of this coming up White Sox team is our guy, Fred Huebner, who's going to be joining us here. I already see him in the green room. I wonder if he's going to be playing the new MLB The Show. And if he does, hopefully Eloy doesn't get trapped in any nets. And hopefully Eloy doesn't get a fractured skull out in left field like he said last year. So let's see what here he is, our guy, Fred Huebner from ESPN Chicago 1000. Here he is. Freddie, how's it going, my man? Welcome again.
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you loud and clear. How's it going, Fred? How we doing?
Everything's going great. Having a beverage at a Wednesday night. So
there you go.
From our guys.
What kind of beer are you drinking tonight?
Nick and Ivy, of course.
Nick and Ivy. There we go.
Nice oatmeal stout. And I had a chance to get out there on Saturday last week, and it was a great place. And so, yeah, it's a perfect time to sit down and have a beverage. And, I will be playing MLB The Show. I think it comes out in April. And, for those who don't know, my first run at it last year, I tried to play defense too, which I should just let the computer play the defense. So there's a fly ball to the left in the first game for the White Sox, and Eloy misplayed it. Kind of a, we knew what was coming, and bounced off his head, fractured skull. He was out for 6 months. So, unlike most gamers who would have just started the season over, I played the season without Eloy. So Adam Engel got a lot of at-bats, so it worked out okay. In the long run, they were doing okay, but then then I went through a different mode where they just skip around and you play some big games and stuff. So
right.
I'm still playing that until the new one comes out. It's going to be tough for some White Sox fans to buy it with Tatis on the cover. But
yeah,
not for me. I'm fine. I'm over it.
That kid seems to look like the real deal, and he just signed a real nice big contract out there in San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it was a good trade when you guys needed it. You guys were looking for James Shields. You guys got James Shields, hoping that he was going to be something different than what he was, and it just didn't pan out. You guys didn't know what he was going to be. He was 17 years old when you guys traded him.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get. I've been trying to get that across to, Sox fans and hosts that talk about the White Sox. Jeff Meller and Carmen DeFalco constantly, they just can't let it go. But it's gone. If it would have worked, it would have been great. But hey, they got Tatis's brother, so he's in the minor league. So hopefully they don't trade him.
There we go. It's almost like a Lou Brock aspect at this point. We got rid of Lou Brock as a kid too, and Lou Brock had a lot of hits, a lot of stolen bases, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was amazing. And he didn't show it when he first came up to the Cubs. And then it's like, okay, well, let's move this guy for Ernie Broglio, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. So speaking of here, I mean, I definitely want to dive into a little bit of everything with you, Fred. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're a busy guy. I know that you're going to be hanging back, watching your TV and drinking your beers tonight. And I don't want to keep you too long, but I'd like to get into a little bit of all the Chicago sports here with you. Angelo, unfortunately, can't make it tonight. Angelo is getting ready. He's sick tonight. I was going to try and make a joke there, but I can't make a joke. It would not be PC.
Okay, it's almost tougher to be sick nowadays when you can do everything on Zoom. I mean,
right? Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You really got to be sick. You really got to be sick to not show up for Zoom.
Right? Yeah, I don't know what happened. We can pick on him right now because he is in the chat hanging out with us. He said that he's really sad because he always loves when you're on talking with us, and he's bummed that he can't be here. But
we'll do it again.
Yeah. So, Freddie, let's dive into the Cubs here first because I'm an ultimate Cub fan. I know that you're an ultimate Sox fan. But a couple of weeks ago, we had David Kaplan on. We were talking about our picks to click for the Chicago Cubs team, and I said that my pick to click would be Nico Horner. All right, I really like this kid. He's beefed up a little bit. He's tightened up that swing a little bit. He's still a little shaky with the glove, and it showed yesterday with a bad error that he had trying to backhand. But I still think he's a serviceable second baseman. This Cubs team, but realistically, they have no flamethrowers on this team.
No.
They got a bunch of guys that throw 90 miles an hour, unlike the White Sox, who have a bunch of guys that throw 95 miles an hour. In your opinion, you're a big baseball nut just like myself.
Yeah.
How can the Cubs win this division with a group of guys that can't hit 95?
They got to learn how to hit the ball. Last year, they were miserable. All of them were bad hitting. Javi had a bad year. Bryant had a bad year. Contreras didn't play well. Rizzo had an off year. The only guy that played well was Happ offensively. They need to come to play, and I guess Rizzo's off to a nice start in the spring. Nico Horner's ridiculous. I mean, he had made just one out before the last couple of days. So, I mean, it's amazing what he's been able to do. They need to hit the ball. And Javi said something which was interesting a couple of weeks ago. He said in most baseball seasons, if you struggle in the first half, you can step it up in the second half. Well, the first half and second half last year was if you didn't play well in August, you can't September. But a lot of players, they only had 60 games. And so it's tough sometimes. You hit a slump. Javi had a lot of other things he said during the season. He said, I didn't get a chance to use the video. I didn't get a chance to do this. But listen, a lot of people had bad seasons. Look, Christian Yelich had a brutal season last year. A lot of players had bad years. It's going to be interesting now if they can play 162, if the Cubs can come out of the box and start hitting the ball. Some of these pitchers, Zach Davies is off to a pretty good start in the spring. They'll be
pitched nice today.
Yeah, Trevor Williams has been pitching okay for them. And, Craig Kimbrell's still kind of the guy they're still trying to say is their closer. But, yeah, and, I'd be happy to see Arrieta, who can probably throw 95, 96. It's interesting. He can still throw some speed. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they need to hit the ball. They need some offense, especially at Wrigley Field. And I think if they get some offense, Jack Peterson's off to a nice start. He's hitting the ball. They're starting him even against some left-handers. So we'll see. And, if he can be better than Schwarber was in left field and a little bit better at the plate, then, that's an upgrade there. So
on my way home today, Fred, I was listening to Waddle and Sylvie, and they brought up a good question. The money's not our money that the Chicago Cubs have, so who cares how it's spent, right? Of the three players that I'm going to foremention here, that they forementioned, was Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, and Chris Bryant. Who do you ink the deal with for the extension? In your opinion, who do you ink the deal with?
Baez. I don't think there's any doubt.
Really?
I think you can get Rizzo at a lesser rate. You don't have to pay him the big money. He's older. And Bryant.
31. Bryant's 29, and Javi's what, 26?
I think 28, actually. I think he's a little bit older. But anyway, the thing is, Rizzo, you can sign for a lesser amount. Even though he's had some really good years, a couple of 30 homers, 100 RBI seasons. He's a staple at first base for them. He's always out there. Chris Bryant, I get a feeling that the Cubs are starting to think that Chris Bryant's not all that maybe the best of Chris Bryant's already happened. That the 15, 16, 17 is the best you're going to see out of him. And I don't think they're going to make an effort because his people want a lot of money. And the Baez deal could have been done before COVID last year. Who knows? But I get a feeling that Baez is the guy. I'm actually surprised that he's not signed yet.
Right.
And then they'll wait and see what happens with Bryant. If Bryant has a good year, they can trade him to someone in the pennant race. I know they don't want to lose him for nothing. But, hey, is that really the worst thing, losing him for nothing? I don't know. I don't know if it's the worst thing.
See, I here on the show, I've said it a bunch of times, and I've even called into you guys, and I've over at ESPN 1000, ESPN Chicago, I've even called into you guys again. Today was one of those days where I called in. I don't think Chris Bryant has been the same player since he's been donked in the dome.
Right.
Since he's gotten hit in the head with that fastball. I forget who the hell it was from, but I know it was a hard one.
Yeah.
He got hit high and tight right in the head, right in the helmet. He hasn't been the same player since.
No, he hasn't. And guys learned how to pitch him a little bit. I mentioned this. I might have mentioned this last time I was on with you guys. But I never understood why people would throw him anything below the waist. Anything below the waist, he's going to kill. If it's knee high and it's in the strike zone, he's going to beat the heck out of it. He always has, always will. If you throw him waist high and higher, you got a good chance of getting him out or popping the ball up and stuff. I've seen a couple of games in the spring. I've seen him pop up a couple times. And, I got a feeling they're learning to pitch him. Now he's got to figure out a way to beat that. I mean, that's what good players do. Now the question is, can he do that this year? If he can, maybe the Cubs can do something. But I just don't think they're going to sign more than one of those guys. And I think Baez is a guy a little bit younger that they can build around a little bit more than Bryant.
The guy that I was hoping that Chris Bryant would become was Scott Rowland. That's the guy I wanted Chris Bryant to become. A guy that can sit there and hit anywhere between 25 and 45 homers, with 100 RBIs, and hit 295. Yeah. That's what I wanted out of Chris Bryant.
And really good defense, too.
And phenomenal Gold Glove defense on the hot corner. And it hasn't been put together yet.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice if they would have not moved him around a little bit. Right. Left field, center field, right field. Just leave him at third base. Why would you take that guy like that and move him? You don't see Nolan Arenado getting moved around, do you? You don't see Trevor Story playing a different spot. He's at shortstop all the time. You don't see those kind of things. And for some reason, because they moved him around because they could, but I never liked that in the first place. And a couple times he's gotten hurt. It's playing the outfield. He works hard. He works his tail off. Nobody goes faster from first to home than he does. I love watching him run. But I think if you would have left him at third, maybe it would have been a little bit better for him.
And I almost feel bad for him here in Chicago because people just rip up. I mean, I almost, in a way, I kind of feel for Trubisky too in the same aspect. But Chris Bryant's a lot better of a ball player than Trubisky is, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
all right. You know what I mean? There was more hype around Chris Bryant. I don't know if that's true to say that or not. But Chris Bryant had all these expectations coming in here of being phenomenal. Winning the MVP.
Right.
Having a rookie of the year just being absolutely stellar over there at third base, and just he just hasn't been able to put it together since.
Well, like you said too, the injuries have been killers. If he can stay healthy all year long, see what he can do, and then halfway through the season, then it's up to the Cubs. What do you do? Do you move him? Do you ship him somewhere? Do you try to sign him? Do you try to find some money? And I agree with you and a lot of other people. They say this is too much money. This is too much. Hey, listen, it's not our money. Just go out and get a team. When they traded Darvish, if I was a diehard Cub fan, at that point I would have said, okay, You've got a guy who we did nothing but criticize until he became good. Then he becomes good and we move him. And that made no sense at all to me. I understand what they did. I understand what they're trying to do. But if you're trying to win, you don't move Darvish because he had such a good year last year.
Right. I was not happy with that move at all. So being as it is right now, I mean, early season prediction here. I mean, obviously before season prediction, where do you see this Cubs team finishing out at in this division?
I couldn't believe the other day when one of the casinos had them at 78.5 wins. That was low, I thought. But you think about it, you don't know what Cincinnati's going to be. We all got hyped for Cincinnati last year. Can they do the same thing this year? Now, they don't have Trevor Bauer. They don't have a couple of their pitchers they had last year. So what are they going to be like? Milwaukee picked up Colton Wong. You don't expect Yelich to have a bad year again. Can they hang? St. Louis picking up Arenado is going to be difficult, I think, to beat because somewhere they always have pitchers, but also their pitchers are always in bad shape. If they can battle for the second and third spot, I think that would be good. I don't know if they can battle for the top spot in the division.
Right. Yeah, I kind of think it's going to be the Cardinals this year with the addition of Arenado. It's filthy. Their corner punch is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, Sweet Pete.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad. Not bad. All right, so let's move on to our White Sox here, Fred. This is your team here. A lot of ever since last year, at the beginning of last year, a lot of hype around this young team here. You got Robert coming back off of his freshman year, coming out here, going to be kicking some ass out in center field. You got Garrett Crochet, and the list just goes on. Jose Abreu and Moncada and Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the list just goes on and on with all these heavy hitters. Where is the weakness in this White Sox team? Because not only do they have all these big boppers, but they also have one of the best damn bullpens in all of baseball.
Yeah, they do. They do have a great bullpen. I know this is weird, but a lot of times good hitting teams go into hitting slumps. And I know it's only the spring. They've been awful here in the spring so far hitting the ball. And I know it's a joke. It's spring training, but they're not hitting at all. Now, hopefully when the season kicks in April, they start hitting the ball. And I don't doubt that they will. But, Robert had a really good start last year. Then he struggled the last month of the season. I think Eloy's going to just continue to hit the ball. Abreu's going to hit. Anderson's going to hit. I'm not sure how Adam Eaton's going to be as an addition there. I think Moncada being healthier off of COVID, I think he'll be fine. I'm a big Moncada fan. I really like him a lot. I think Madrigal will get on base. He won't do some of the stupid things he did last year. For a guy that's a smart guy, he made a lot of stupid plays in the field. And more on the bases, not in the field. And he is a better fielder than he showed last year, too. I'm not the biggest Grandal fan. And I don't know how many times Grandal has dropped balls that came in from outfielders on throws and for cutoffs on throws at place at the plate. There were at least 3 or 4 times last year. I know it doesn't sound like much, but in a 60-game season it was. Who knows what would happen in 162 games. But where he had the guy and just dropped the ball, couldn't hold it on a throw from the outfielder, from the cutoff man. And he needs to hit a lot more for me. Everybody gives him high ratings as a catcher because of his framing. And that's a whole nother can of worms that Sylvie and I can talk about forever because we both have been yelling for Rob Manfred to have the automated strike zone for years. And they still don't do it. And I get so aggravated when I see the K zone and the K box on TV when, there's a ball inside, they call it a ball, and there's a pitch outside and they call it a strike. It's like, come on. If you're going to show the thing, let's change it around and have the automated strike zone. But I think it's going to come down to hitting. They're going to have to be able to hit like we all think they can. Tim Anderson, a year off hitting, the batting title one year. Then last year, we'll see what he does this year. He did improve his defense last year, which I was happy about because 2 years ago he led the league in 2 categories: batting average and errors. So Last year he back up much better defensively, and I think they're going to need that. And I'm also interested to see how this Tony La Russa thing works out. La Russa seems like he's a different guy, like he's a lot softer than he was before.
Right.
And he also knows he's brought in here with a team. None of the teams he had in the past really were expected to win right away. And these guys have everything. They're pretty well set. If they can get some starting pitching from Cease and then whoever's number 5, if it's Rodon or Lopez or Kopech when he comes up, or Kopech out of the bullpen. Their bullpen, you get the game into the 6th or 7th inning, their bullpen should shut people down.
Right.
With Bummer and Crochet, and then you bring Liam Hendricks in, who's just a wild, ridiculously crazy Australian. I didn't like the trade because I like Dane Dunning better than I like Cease, but we'll see what happens. Dane Dunning's now in Texas, so we'll see how that plays out. But I think it's going to come down to them being able to hit enough, because otherwise, I think they're pretty well set everywhere else.
We got a question from the chat from our guy here over at 1252. His name is Vince.
Yeah.
He asks, Fred, does it worry you that last season they beat up on bad teams in 60-game high division play and maybe over 162-game and regular season schedule, they aren't as ready to compete as everyone thought they were?
Sure, because they didn't play the East. They didn't play the West. They just played the Central.
Right.
And, so you didn't get a chance to see – you didn't see the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays. You didn't see Atlanta. You didn't see any of those other teams. You didn't see out West. And, so that definitely scares you. Where they had a chance to see Oakland, but it was only in the playoffs, and Oakland showed that they were actually a pretty damn good team. So, it scares me because you could beat up on Kansas City last year and Detroit, and then you end up with Minnesota and stuff like that. But, definitely. They're going to have to step up their game. But I think a year of getting – I've always believed that getting to the playoffs, a lot of people say, well, getting to the playoffs means nothing. You got to win it all. Well, you got to do stuff in baby steps. The Bears did by getting to the championship game and losing to the Niners and then taking over. The Bulls did with getting beat by the Pistons and then beating the Pistons and winning. So you got to take steps. The Cubs the Cubs did it quickly. The Cubs did it really well. And but I think the White Sox.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, they didn't, Fred. Yeah, they
did it well to win a championship.
They won one championship, and I would much rather have sustained success over just a one hit it and quit it.
But that's what they. But think about it. Sustained success was the exact phrase that Theo used all the time, and he, you get to the playoffs 5 out of 6 years, counting last year. That's not bad. When you get to the, you get your team to the playoffs. Once in the playoffs, they got to perform, and the Cubs just didn't do it. Right. That's why I go back to 07-08. I think it was 07-08. Cubs made the playoffs 2 years in a row under Dusty, but they lost every game. That was Dusty, right? 07-08. And they couldn't win a game because they couldn't hit. And then Dusty gets run out. Oh, you can't win in the playoffs. Well, if team don't hit, you can't win.
Right.
And I just think that, a lot of things went wrong for the Cubs at one time. And it surprised me. It shocked me, and obviously shocked Theo and Jed too.
The difference too that Rick Hahn is building over there with the Chicago White Sox is that he has these guys locked up for a longer span than what Theo was able to lock down his guys for.
Yep, sure does.
Rick Hahn has got these names: Moncada, Abreu, the list goes on. Tim Anderson.
Jimenez, Robert, everybody.
All these guys are locked down over a span where that's all you're going to do is be able to see them become great or fizzle.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Either it's going to be high expectation and be like, boom, these guys completely exceeded or met, or these guys are not it. Yeah. Plain and simple. While the Cubs, they didn't have that. They were in the middle of contract with Rizzo, in the middle of a thing with Hayward and all this other stuff where they brought in Lester, Arrieta. The list goes on and on. It's a mess, but at the same time, Rick Hahn has done a fabulous job, and that's putting it lightly. He's done an exceptional job over there with the Chicago White Sox. And, man, I'm excited to watch this team play, and I'm not even a White Sox fan.
Yeah, it should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. And, I think that what he's done has been great. I didn't think that, at the press conference when he announced Tony La Russa, it sounded like the most forced press conference I've ever heard. But everything I've heard from Rick Hahn since seems like he's really bought into this whole Tony La Russa thing. And, we'll see. That's how it's going to play out. Tony's the guy that likes to win. I know after the second preseason game, he said it would be nice to win a few. And they went 0-3-3 in their first 6 games, and then they finally won a game. And, the whole spring training's kind of weird with 5 inning, 6 inning, 7 inning games and stuff like that. So I can't wait till April starts. You wait for the spring, and then the spring gets here, and then you can't wait for opening day. And that's how I think everybody's looking now. I have a hard time sitting down and watching a spring training game. I like to just see how a couple guys have at bats and stuff like that. I tuned it in and I went on to MLB TV and stuff like that and watched a couple games and stuff, but it's just not the same. None of it counts. And you got guys with high numbers and guys you'll never see again. So, but I think it comes down to the hitting for the White Sox, pitching for the Cubs, and the Cubs bats got to come through. So,
and I got another quick question for you with this White Sox team. It's a name that I keep on always forgetting about, and our guy Andrew Tarbill reminded me of it here. A name for the White Sox that only because he hasn't pitched in almost 2 years in a big league game, not a big league game, but an actual regular season game, is Michael Kopech.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Kopech's usage moving forward? Is he going to be a starter? Is he going to come out of the pen? What are they grooming him for? What's the deal with him? What are you expecting out of Michael Kopech this year?
This year, I'm thinking he's going to be bullpen. He's going to be a bullpen guy until maybe the second half of the season. And then in the second half, if their number 5 starter doesn't work, then maybe you move him into the starting rotation at 5, depending on how the pennant race is going and everything else. But I think that there's no doubt he'll start out of the pen. So if you bring a 100-mile-an-hour thrower from the right side, then you bring Garrett Crochet from the left side, and then you bring Bummer in throwing that nasty pitch he throws. So, I mean, they're going to be set. So I think at the start of the season, they're going to rely on him out of the bullpen. I think that's a good way to do it. Think about it. They actually used Chris Sale out of the bullpen when he first came. I think Mark Burley even was a bullpen guy when he first got here. Mm-hmm. And then you work him into the pitching rotation. Now, Ethan Katz, their new pitching coach, is a guy that apparently loves what he sees from Dylan Cease. Ronaldo Lopez had 2 scoreless innings over the weekend. And if you can get this kid right, they always say he's got great stuff, but I always thought it was something in his head. If he walks a guy or he gets a bad call, all of a sudden bad things happen. They changed his arm slot a little bit. So I'm eager to see what the new pitching coach can do with guys like Cease and Lopez and Rodon. He's the guy they got. They re-signed him. If nothing else, a lefty that, if they tell him ahead of time and let his wife know that he might be a bullpen guy, then maybe he can come in from the bullpen and get a few outs here and there. Because I've always had I had a problem with that last year. People said, well, he's not ready. He's not ready for the – listen, he's a Major League Baseball pitcher. You go in and you try to get guys out. It doesn't matter if they're a starter or a reliever or whatever. And starters should have no problem coming in from the bullpen. If you had enough time to warm up, you're just facing batters. Like, that's your job. That's what you do.
Right. You're there to get outs.
Right. So I'm eager to see what he does with those guys. Those 3 are the keys, I think, if the White Sox are going to win ultimately during the season. When it gets playoff time, you won't have to worry about it. It'll be Giolito, Keuchel, and Lynn. But before that, you're going to have to figure out, what's going to happen with the 4 and 5 guys. And I just realized Dallas Keuchel, I'm pretty sure, is married to Kelly Nash. You know Kelly Nash from MLB Network?
Yeah.
Well, I just saw a post from her talking about, her love and all that stuff. And I said, oh my God, she's married. She's with Dallas Keuchel. Maybe that was a distraction during the playoffs, because I know she distracts me when I watch MLB, every night during the season. Jeez. So, yeah, she's fun to watch. So maybe Dallas Keuchel was a little distracted last year. But hopefully, he pitched really good during the year. And then when they needed him, they went out and got him for a second starter. Then he couldn't do the job in the second playoff game last year. So,
all right. So right now, as it sits right now, early preseason prediction. Where do you feel that the White Sox are going to finish out this season?
They're going to battle Minnesota for the top spot.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that. I think I wouldn't have given Minnesota as much credit, but they re-signed Nelson Cruz, and they got Colomé, who I liked here. Colomé came in and did the job for them, and there's something about the Twins that the White Sox struggle with all the time. So we'll see. I know the Twins lost a couple of players here and there, but I think they'll battle with the Twins all the way down. I don't think Cleveland's ready. Kansas City and Detroit are rebuilding, so I don't think you have too much to worry about with them. So I think it'll be a battle with Minnesota.
All right, gun to your head. Who takes it?
Well, gun to my head, I'd say the White Sox, but
all right.
Yeah. So
all right.
hopefully it's a pop gun or a water pistol.
All right, so moving on here. We've had a couple big things out of the Blackhawks here that we're going to touch base on this really quick.
Yeah.
We had a couple big milestones out of Patrick Kane for the Chicago Blackhawks. They played a great series against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the 3-game
First
set
two, yeah.
The 3-game set between those guys, and then the last one was just a rough one. But a couple milestones out of Patrick Kane getting his 400th, and then playing his 1,000th game as the youngest Blackhawk to hit 1,000. And we were able to see a little bit from Jonathan Toews last night, a little bit as well, which was good. Everybody keeps on saying that he looks good and all that other good stuff, and to me, he looked a little thin. But
Yes.
that was just me. I mean, okay, yeah, he looks healthy. He's there. He has a pulse. All right, so that's always a good thing. But the Blackhawks, they're still playing some pretty good puck. They're sitting at the 12th spot as the last time I checked right now with 31 points, I believe, out of 38. It's Toronto and I forget who else tied at the top at 38. But is this team a legit team, Fred? Do you think they have a chance to make the playoffs without – and I saw a news report today that Doc's going to be coming back.
Yeah.
Possibly a lot sooner than what everybody expected, which would be a huge help.
Huge help.
But do you think this team has enough to do this, to make the playoffs, to squeak in without Jonathan Toews, our captain, captain?
I think they can get into the playoffs. I really do. DeBrincat's been playing well. I don't think Kane has scored for like 3 games or 4 games. I can pretty much tell you that because I bet on him to score goals in the last couple of games, and he hasn't done it. But, yeah, they've got some of the young guys stepping up. Pew Suter's fun to watch, and, Kurashev has been he's been a big addition, and so they've been fun to watch. And they had great goaltending, and now the last couple of games, you give it up 6 goals in a couple of games and big goal numbers. So, tomorrow's a big game for them. Back to Dallas again. There was an emotional thing with Kane's 1,000th game. I like the way the players came out and they all kind of lined up. I don't know if you saw it. They all kind of lined up when he first took the ice, and that was very cool. And he deserves it, man. I mean, look what this kid's done. I mean, people may not remember, before the Blackhawks won, there were people saying, you got to trade this kid. He's too small. He's too skinny. He can't do anything. Kind of the same thing they used to say about Dennis Savard for a while, until people realized that he's one of the best players that Hawks ever had. And then Patrick Kane and Toews just led him to 3 Stanley Cups. And, the kid's an amazing player, an amazing talent. And I love watching him and DeBrincat. I love watching them play. Their games have been so much fun to watch this year. That's why the last couple have been real tough. But, Tampa's a good team. They play Dallas tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I know they hit the road after a nice first game in Dallas, and they're on the road for a little while. But I'm having fun watching them. That's a lot of fun, and I think that's the biggest thing, because after the first weekend, after the first 4 games against Tampa and Florida to start the season, you thought it was going to be really a bad season.
It's going to be a rough season, right?
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they're a young team. They kind of got a lot of things going for them at the right time here, and clicking to get some points, which is a big thing. Doesn't matter how you get them, as long as you get them. You know what I mean?
And I'm with Carmen and Yurko too. For years I've said this. I hate that you get a point for an overtime loss. I mean, I'm sorry. You shouldn't get a point for a loss, no matter how you work it. And if you did that, then you'd be able to get, there'd be a little more change, because a lot of times it's hard to catch people in the standings when you don't get as many points. If you get, like in soccer, if you got 3 points for a win, and then maybe 1 point for a overtime win, and then no points for a loss, it would change the way the standings are made a lot. So I don't know. It's they'll never change it. I think they kind of like the closeness, but then it's really hard to come back in the second half of the season, as far as I know.
All right. So, okay, that's all I got Blackhawks-wise for you.
That's fine.
I want to move on to the beaten horse here around Chicago, and
God. I did 3 hours on Sunday and never mentioned the Bears quarterbacks.
I know. Just I don't even want to bring it up, but I got to bring it up. And I'm only going to ask one question. Maybe 2. All right, maybe 3. All right, hold on. Do the Bears land Watson or Wilson in the offseason? No. Who is our starting quarterback week 1?
No, I think he's not on the team right now, obviously, unless you're going to go with Nick Foles. I don't think they will. I think that now I think they may. It's a weird thing. It's got all of us guessing. But I think what they're going to do is draft somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round. Who knows who that's going to be. And then I would try to go after Jameis Winston if they could.
Really?
Listen, Sure, he threw some interceptions, but he also threw for 5,000 yards.
Some
I know, but he threw for 5,000 yards. That's pretty good. Well, you figure you teach him. I mean, you teach him. Don't throw that ball. It's easier to teach a guy not to throw a ball than it is to try to teach him how to throw the right one. And I think we've seen that from Trubisky the last couple of years. We know this guy can throw a good pass. We just got to get into his head when not to throw the ball. Don't try to squeeze the ball in. Take, punt and go, live for another day. And
well, he got LASIK now, so he should be able to see what team he's throwing to.
Yeah, well, you know what? They also said that about Jordan Howard. He'd be able to catch the ball better because he got his eyes worked on. He couldn't catch the ball, and now he's on his third or fourth team. He went to Philly, then went to Miami, and I think he's leaving there too. So I guess that doesn't work. We always think they'll be able to catch the ball after they get LASIK, but it doesn't work. So.
All right, now this is I went on like a kind of a little tangent here, and I'm going to bring up the Bulls here. Okay,
that's fine.
All right, that's all I had. Bears conversation. I just wanted to get it on out there, just get the feeler on it. This is the last one I got for you here, Fred. This is the one that pisses me off. Earlier in the week, we're all like this big chat, right? Me and the guys here at 12:52.
Yeah,
we're in this big chat, and it was during the NBA All-Star game. Okay,
you watched that?
Which was a dud besides the 3-point contest, by the way.
I've not watched an NBA All-Star game or an NFL Pro Bowl for about 12 years.
Well, it's the only damn thing on.
No, you know what I did? I watched 3 episodes of Ted Lasso, and then I finished the other 7 the other day.
There you go. So, I told you to watch it. It's a good one.
Oh, my God. I could have. I want to get a jersey. I can't believe it.
All right.
I believe.
On the Bulls topic, okay, what I was saying, basketball has been dead for me for a long time. This whole thing of you can't beat them, join them, drives me nuts, where LeBron is recruiting guys. I want to know your feelings on this because in my eyes, honestly, basketball, the NBA, in my personal opinion, okay, hasn't been even remotely close to something that's watchable on a nightly basis in the last 10, 15 years.
For a couple of reasons, in my opinion. And again, I'm old school. I'm a lot older guy than you guys. And I just watched it today, just on Pardon the Interruption today with Tony Kornheiser and Pablo Torre was on. And they were talking about how people talked about how maybe there's too many threes in the NBA. Do you think there's too many threes? They say 39% of the shots that get put up are 3-point shots. And I grew up with cutting and screening and, getting to the basket and taking a shot and things like that.
The physicality of the game.
I know, and it makes sense from a coaching perspective, but it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, for entertainment. I mean, you get much more entertainment seeing a guy cut to the basket and make a nice shot, or cut to the basket and get a layup or something and fouled, than some guy pulling up from 5 feet behind the line hitting a three. And then the whole thing, you're right, New Jersey. James Harden doesn't want to be in Houston. He goes to New Jersey. Brooklyn. Then the other day, Blake Griffin gets let go. He goes to Brooklyn. I said, come on, how many players can Brooklyn have on their team at one time? I'm not a fan of it at all. I hate that. And I know Charles Barkley has talked about it over the years. Michael Jordan talked about it over the years. You wanted to beat the other guys. You didn't want to join their team because you couldn't beat them. It's the worst thing in sports. One of the worst things in sports. And now, because the NBA players are able to hold out and say, listen, I want to get traded, and it works. Now in football, they're doing the same thing with Deshaun Watson and with Russell Wilson and things like that. And I understand players should have the right to go where they want to go because they're drafted out of college. Sometimes people like Eli Manning, John Elway, right? John Elway are able to say, I'm holding out, and then they get traded and dealt to where they want to go. So what's the difference if guys do it later in their career? But it just seems like once you've played for a team for a few years and then say, well, listen, we can't win with these guys. I want to get traded. Or my offensive line sucks. Let's go somewhere else. I just hate it. That's not the way I grew up watching the game. I tell people, and I've said it on the radio for years, I don't like the NBA. I don't watch the NBA, but I watch every Bulls game, or at least every one. I try not to miss them because I want to see how the Bulls do. Someone says, hey, LeBron's playing against Dame Lillard. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch it. I'll watch something else.
No, it's I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like you said, I'm a younger guy, but my dad and I used to watch Bulls games. I mean, a Jordan game, a Bulls game when I was growing up was religion.
Sure.
Like we would miss dinner to finish a Bulls game,
Yes,
like legit, like it was legit stuff. But I can't, I literally, I can't find myself to get into today's NBA. But now college basketball, on the other hand, I'm super pumped up for March Madness. I'm super pumped up for Illinois. I'm super pumped up for Gonzaga and Michigan and all these other big teams that are getting. I mean, Duke isn't relevant. Kansas isn't relevant.
Which is
UNC
nice.
Isn't relevant. Which is nice. Baylor's kicking ass out there. Oregon looks pretty solid. Like there's good teams that are out there right now. But I can't get into this NBA aspect. I'd much rather watch these kids play.
Yeah.
Is it because of the teaming up that we just don't like it, Fred? I mean, what do you think is the main reason in the NBA game that why we can't stand it as viewers?
I think the teaming up and the threes. I think the two things you brought up are two of the biggest things. I don't know. I know the athleticism's better. I love high school basketball, which is back this year, but really not in a great way. Next year, hopefully, it'll come back the way it belongs because I've been down in the state tournament like 28 of the last 32 years, and I missed that. And I had a chance to see so many great players. But I used to be more into college basketball, but then you see this little fight they got going in the Big Ten because Illinois played all 20 games and Michigan didn't play that many, and Michigan wins and they win the championship. So I'm eager to see how Illinois does. Illinois's got a really good team. Watching DeSumo play is awesome. He's so much fun. And for them to beat Michigan without him a couple of weeks ago was also amazing. So I can't wait for that tournament to get underway. I'm not a fan of conference tournaments. You play the whole season long. What's the point of playing a conference tournament? I've never liked that at all. But I know it's all about money. Everybody wants the money, and I understand that. So that's why I hope Duke goes out. Duke played Louisville tonight, I think. But I hope they go out. I don't want to see them anywhere near the tournament. It's great to not see them in Kentucky and other teams like that. That'd be fun. And then some people won't like the tournament because of that, because they want to see the blue bloods there every year. I'm not one of those.
This new blood, though, man. I like this new blood talent. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And we only get Illinois in there once every 15 years where they're an actual solid team. So I'm really pumped up for these guys too. This Kofi Cockburn and all these other guys. I like that kid, man. He's a monster in the paint.
Yeah, I like some of their freshmen. I like too. I like their freshmen. A couple guys are really good. They're fun to watch, and it's great. They got them playing really well. I can't wait for I know they play Friday night in the tournament, a Big Ten tournament, and we'll go from there and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching that. I'm going to be all eyes on that tournament for sure. Yeah. I'm going to be all eyes on that and the Players' Championship, Fred. All eyes on it, man. All eyes on it. Players' Championship this weekend.
I may sleep through that, but that's okay.
You don't like
everyone's got. I don't mind. I don't mind playing. I can watch it once in a while, but I work with a bunch of guys at ESPN that just love it. Absolutely love it. They watch it constantly. Thursday, Fridays.
Awesome.
Like, oh my God. I just can't handle it. Awesome. Listen, for a sport like that, and then you have the Masters, and the first two rounds aren't on TV. It's like, come on, what the hell's going on? Your biggest sport. Right. I love getting up on Saturday and Sunday mornings when the British Open, now just called the Open Championship. I love watching that on Saturday and Sunday mornings. You get up crack of dawn, and all of a sudden they're already 8 holes in.
Right.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun stuff, man. I love golf. I'm really getting excited for this weekend. This is my favorite course besides Augusta. I really enjoy TPC Sawgrass. That 17th hole is.
I want to play it. I just want to play it. That's all I want to do.
It looks impossible, doesn't it?
Yeah, give me a couple dozen balls and I'll play it.
I bet you we'd hit them all into the water there.
Oh, there's no doubt.
There's no doubt. I was watching epic fails on hole 17 this morning.
Yeah.
And in what was it, 2017 or 2013 or whatever the hell it was, Sergio Garcia is tied with Tiger going into that hole and drops 2 in the water, back-to-back shots, and just completely took him out. And then Tiger Woods comes up and puts it about 8 feet away from the fucking hole.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to be kidding me, man.
I'm behind on my documentary watching. I just started watching the 2-part Tiger.
It's phenomenal.
Tiger. Yeah, I'm about an hour in, so I got more to watch. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. Fred, I appreciate you joining us, man. I really, really do. We got some big news with you here too, as well. If you don't mind, let's do it here.
Yeah.
Coming on to 1252 Sports here, Fred. You're going to be having your own show here with us, which is going to be excellent. It's going to be on Mondays, starting in April here. What can we get from you? What are we going to be watching? What are we going to be listening for through you?
You know, I'm one of the few guys in Chicago that like soccer, but I'm not going to do a complete soccer show because there's so much great love for baseball and stuff like that in April, and the draft and stuff like that. So we'll talk a lot of Sox, Cubs, Bears, Blackhawks, and Bulls in playoff runs. But we'll talk Chicago Fire, Chicago Red Stars for people who love their soccer. We'll get a little segment in there each Monday, and also beer because there's like a couple things I know real well. I know soccer real well. I know beer real well. The other sports I would know real well too, but those are two things that I actually love on a daily basis. I stopped at a bottle store today, Orange and Brew in Downers Grove. I've been stopping at breweries like each day, it seems. People think I drink a lot. Only two when I'm out. Only two. But then, now I'm home, so I can have another one. So,
there you go.
But yeah, beer and sports. I mean, that's what I love talking about. The Chicago Fire hoping that they can get people at Soldier Field, just like the Cubs and White Sox can get people at their stadiums. Fire's going to find out because if it's 20%, you got a 62,000 seat stadium. 20% of that's a lot more than 8,000. So it'll be fun to see what happens, and they hope to find that out. And so we'll talk a little soccer, we'll talk a little beer, we'll talk a lot of baseball in the coming months starting in April.
Well, we're really excited for your show, man. I know I'm not the only one. I can't wait to be listening to it as it's going live and stuff like that. We're going to be able to check it out on Spotify and everything like that. We're really excited to bring you on, Fred. It's going to be a lot of fun having you part of the 1252 team. And let me just say, firstly, welcome, man. I'm really pumped up for this.
My pleasure. I've been lazy the last 4 or 5 years. Well, I had other stuff going on too, but the last 4 or 5 years I thought about doing a podcast and I kept putting it off. And when you asked me the other day, I jumped at the opportunity. And so once I got everything squared away, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Excellent. Fred, how can all my listeners find you? How can we get in contact with you, see all the beers that you're drinking and all this content that you're posting? How can we follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Fred_Huebner. And then if you follow me on Facebook, the odds are if I look you up and know who the heck you are, I'll follow you too on Facebook. And I'm on Instagram too, but I can't remember. I think I'm Hubes United, HUEBSUTD. I posted some stuff on Instagram today with some beer stuff. So a lot of people are following me there. It's weird because you got 3 or 4 different social medias. You got different things, different addresses and different things on each and every one of them. So it makes it a little difficult. So, but yeah, I'm always out there, and I love talking to people. People run into me sometimes at a brewery and stuff, and they go, "Oh, I don't want to talk sports with you." I said, "That's all I know. I sports and beer." I go, "Otherwise, you start talking about anything else, I'm gonna have nothing to say." So, so I love talking to people. That's what we're going to try to bring on Mondays. It'll be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Fred, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thanks for taking 45 minutes out of your day to come hang out with me in lieu of Angelo playing hooky at tonight's show. This rotten bastard, let me tell you. He's just sitting at home playing video games.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He is. So
Fred. It's only Fred.
That's it. Only me. That's not a big deal. So no, I look forward to the next time we talk, and we'll do it soon. I think actually we'll do it next week, right?
Yeah. You're going to be coming on with us first week
next
of April,
Wednesday.
right?
Yeah, but then next Wednesday, I think I'm going to join you.
Oh, yeah, next Wednesday with the live show, if everything works out well, yeah. I still got to go to the bar. That's still another thing that we got to do. St. Patty's Day, we're looking for a live show. More details to come. I'm going to meet with those guys tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Make sure that everything's ready to rock and roll. But, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic time, man. I hope everything's going to be cooking and having a fun time with that, too. So,
listen, one way or another, you'll have a show next Wednesday, so I'm sure there'll be a few beverages drank at that during the show.
I'm sure. Freddie, thank you so much, my man. I appreciate it again, and we will talk soon, man.
My pleasure, Mike. Have a great night, everyone.
You too, brother. Peace. All right, everybody. Fred Huebner from, again, ESPN Chicago, ESPN 1000. Great friend of the show here, and also now a new guy of 1252. I'm super pumped to have him here. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to listen to his first show on the 1252 Sports Network. It's going to be absolutely epic, I'm sure. Freddie has nothing but great content all the time. Like he said, he's going to be talking beers. He's going to be talking Cubs, Sox, soccer, which is awesome because that's something I know nothing about. You guys want to talk golf? I'm your guy. You guys want to talk soccer? Way over my head. Authentic football? Out of my league. But really quick, before we keep on going on here, we don't have too much longer left of this show. That interview was brought to you by the guys that Freddie was drinking beers from, Nick and Ivy Brewing Company out in Lockport, Illinois. So right quick, a quick word from those guys.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show as well as the 1252 brand because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend. Or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for a fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
All right, and we're back. And thank you again to Fred Huebner coming on here with us, talking everything Chicago. Bulls, Bears, Cubs, White Sox. That was a lot of Blackhawks. That was a lot of fun having him on, giving us his input and thoughts on everything here that's going on in Chicago with recent sports activity going on here in Chicago. And again, I just want to make that perfectly clear. He's going to be on the 1252 Network on Mondays with his own show. It's going to be – I'm super pumped for that. I mean, I can't believe – I feel like a little girl. I'm like, I'm all excited. I can't wait for that. But, yeah, not only that, but don't forget to tune in Friday night for Turtles Takes with Andrew Tarbill, or with Vince Mucci and Andrew Tarbill. They're going to be on again this Friday night from 7 to 8:30-ish. However they run their show, I don't know who they have coming on, but I'm sure it's going to be another great, great show out of those guys. If you guys haven't listened to that yet, make sure you get on the Spotify 12/52 sports. It'll pop right up. You'll be able to check out all our past episodes of Talking Football, of the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show, and also the Turtles Take Show that just came out on Friday. And, yeah, guys, that's all I got for you tonight, man. We're going to be hanging out. Thank you to Fred for coming on. It's great. It was an awesome show. I miss Angelo. I miss him. I don't know how to end the show without him. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing. I just hope he's okay and safe. So, Angelo, I hope you're okay, boo-boo, because Fat Mike misses you. So tomorrow morning, when you're listening to the show, I hope you understand that I miss you. I miss the big. I need the big guy. I need him. I need him. I can't. It's hard to do this without you. I have nothing. I have nobody to bounce off of. I'm fighting with myself and other people in the chat, which is nothing, nothing new. I fight with everybody. So, but yeah, maybe I can have Megan come in here and I can argue with her. We do enough of that here off the air. I could probably bring her out here and yell at her some more, or she can yell at me some more. That's usually how it goes. She yells at me for shit all the time. But on that note, guys, thank you for coming on. Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to Fred again. I appreciate you coming on. Fred Huebner from ESPN Chicago, ESPN 1000, coming on with us, talking everything Chicago sports. Thank you to John Darren and his team over at Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group for sponsoring the Fat Mike Show. And thank you to Nick and Ivy bringing us that interview tonight with Fred Huebner. It was a fantastic interview, and it was fantastic. It was a great show. I think it was an exceptional show. I think it was the best we could have done without Angelo. So hopefully Angelo's back in the saddle next week. And until then, guys, make sure you guys are sending a bunch of get well e-cards, a bunch of hugs and kisses to Angelo. I don't need none of it. I'll be fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about poor Fat Mike. Poor Fat Mike's got a long time yet to go. But Angelo, I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's got Tybungabitis, where his lips and butthole are inflamed. I don't know what's going on with him. but he'll figure it out. He'll be all right. But make sure you guys are sending him those e-cards. Best e-card, I'll retweet. I'll retweet it. Give it a go. Send your best e-cards to Angelo. I'll retweet it. It'll be fun. So on that note, guys, good night. I hope you guys have a great night. Tune in Friday night, 7 o'clock for Turtles Takes with Vince Mucci and Andrew Tarbill, and we'll get it going. Till then, peace, guys. I'm going to do the Forrest Gump wave. Bye, Jedi. Goodbye. Bye, Jedi. Bye.